don't know who's cooking, but we have a 60 card Malice list that tore things up. Make sure you guys smash the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more. We actually have a breakdown for you out of Spain for their regional. Now, this format's not particularly all that fun to look at, but I'll still try to keep up on top of all of the info that we're getting here. Now, for this event, we actually had 3 Mitsurugi variants running around. Now, that's going to be a pretty common story as you kind of track this format, because that's just kind of the deck to beat right now, man. No matter how you want to spin it, you're just going to be looking at that as kind of the challenger right now, and that's just going to be the thing. Now, we also have 2 Yummy variants kind of coming to the top. I'm not really all that surprised to see that, because it's just one of those very, very strong challengers that tends to do something. But we also had, we had a Vanquishal deck. Yeah, I know that's not too exciting, but we did have a Canine variant running around. Actually, to see pure Canine actually making a top cut slot, I think I'm more excited about that than, you know, a lot of the rest of this meta, because pure Canine definitely has some cool combo potential going about it. It's just the deck kind of has to get some setup and kind of get its, you know, fancy off the ground to kind of start up and go. Now, we also did get the chance to see this Malice pile coming into the spotlight. Now, the fact that somebody even thought that Malice would be a good deck to play in this format is a little bit mind-boggling to me, but I think it does potentially open up the idea here of we can test these variants and we can, you know, see different sorts of ideas coming together. You know, you can have success with any of these sorts of decks. It's just which variant is going to be the most successful for you, and you know, you kind of got to build from there. So let's pass on over to those decks. All right, so starting things off here, of course, we're going to have Vanquishal actually winning this regional. It's actually crazy to me to know that Vanquishal overcame so much of the meta recently that just incorporating Noroi's into this deck upped its percentage of success massively, and that's honestly kind of a crazy thing to see out here. Now, this deck is also main decking the Shifter. Honestly, the payoff with Shifter right now is if you tend to see the card, you actually just blow your opponent out of the water. It's become such an impactful and such a powerful card that even as a one-up, you know, you can simply just win games by simply seeing this card. So I think that is a pretty important game changer to kind of be thinking about here. So you might want to actually focus on that and see, you know, if you can also replicate that success. Just kidding, probably not. We also had Mitsurugi. God, man, this is pure Mitsu too. This is not playing the yummy madness that's been going on, but instead this deck is aiming to use their leftover monsters to go search for Fossil Dyna off of the Gallant Granite. Gallant Granite has turned into probably one of the more problematic cards that this format has. It's either, you know, you're going to turn off the searchability for the Fossil Dyna, or you're just going to have to deal with, you know, the chaos that kind of ensues with this card's existence, and that's pretty annoying, actually. This deck is also only playing 2 copies of Pot of Extra, but you're also choosing to play the Pot of Prosperity in here as well. The whole point of this is it gets you further into the deck so that you can basically see those additional cards that, you know, you can do your thing. I mean, and maybe, just depending on the situation, you know, you have to make that call on if you want to pivot into another line or not. We also do get the chance to see, ooh, we have Yummy for you, playing a single copy of Engage in here. Now, we did lose Obedience Schooled, which I swore I thought that the TCG would still kind of keep up on the same concept here of maximizing the engages to make sure that, you know, we can find those cards that we need to be able to get set up. Well, this duelist has chosen to basically not deal with that. And it's understandably so, right? You know, you're digging as far in as you can already. And also, you got 3 extra copies of Marshmallow. So, Engage kind of just turns into a little bit more worthless of a card. We've also got the Pirate Map in here as well. If we need to go toggle for an additional searcher, we have the tools to actually do that. So, you know, I kind of like that. You've already got the tools building up for you. We also have Canine. Ooh, this one is quite a very nice list. The fact that we are using Disc Blaster in here to get some setup is actually very, very nice. Disc Blaster being able to act as kind of like a column policeman, but also be a free extender for you is very, very nice. We also do get to see the Gorgon down here in the link slots, you know, being able to IP into this during the opponent's turn for that little setup of interruption can be quite good, actually. I don't think we get to kind of appreciate the fact that being able to toggle into the Gorgon means that, you know, we can kind of blank out some of the possibilities of things that the opponent's trying to do. So, you know, you do get that extra upside and things to that. So, you know, you also get access to the full Canine package. So, I mean, that's already broken enough as it is for a deck. Next up here, we have the 60-card Malice pile. Now, kudos to you for being able to bring this together, using that one grass look screener, and being able to basically maximize on this. But also, we have Orcus monsters present. You thought that Malice was going to be the only package present here. No, because Malice, the crazy part about having these two work together is one's going to lock you into links. You can basically supplemental and go down links depending on how things go. If you see a grass look screener that inverts this entire pile and allows the deck to, you know, kind of do some pretty toxic things. If there was a combo pile that I wanted to play right now, I think it would be somewhere along the lines of a pile like this, because this is just the sort of, you know, interesting interactions that players tend to like. Next up here, we have more Mitsurugi. Now, this build is actually playing the Futsu. The fact that the Futsu ends up being kind of like this recursion machine that continuously puts these monsters back into play for you, I think is very, very important. You know, you have to kind of appreciate the fact that, you know, being able to regenerate these bodies is good. We also do get to see Dimensional Fissures getting their playtime iron. Di-Fi, in more modern recent times, has turned into one of the better floodgates that we've actually seen, and I quite appreciate that, actually. I never would have guessed that a ritual-based strategy would want to play something like Di-Fi, but they basically made this engine, you know, foolproof at this point. The fact that, you know, you can basically set up and go is quite amazing. So, yeah, you got to give it to the ritual good stuff for, you know, some decent setup here. Next up here, we also have more Yummy. Now, this build's actually going with the triple engage. You know, it's one of the scenarios where they want to maximize on finding those good cards, in which AK is Hornet Drones to go into the Kagari to recur back the setup and kind of continue on with the building process. It's pretty strong. I also do get to see the Solemn Warnings down here in the side deck. That's actually hilarious, man. Having these control cards just stopping the opponent is super, super strong. We also do see, you know, I'm actually playing the Typhoon down there in the extra deck. And of course, maximizing on Ghost Bells. Ghost Bell has turned into one of the strongest hand traps, kind of this format. And I think that's kind of turned it into a mandatory card that you might actually want to be holding for kind of a little bit of the future here. So, yeah, Yummy still having an excellent performance out here is not surprising at all. And then our last list here is more Mitsurugi, actually still playing the Futsu in here, which is pretty strong. We also do see 2 extra of the 1 Pot of Prosperity for the filtering. We also do see Wozu, but this build's not playing Di-Fis. Instead, we're side decking the Shifter as kind of that little oppressive piece to kind of help you set up. Of course, double IP, double SP to kind of go into the cracking scenario that you might actually need to be working with here. So, it's interesting, man. you have so many tools and so many things available to you in a setup like this that, you know, it just is really, really strong to actually see work out. So what do you guys think? Please, comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.